Why? It's always important to trust yourself. Trust your feelings, trust your intuition over everything else, over everyone else. You know the truth. You've always known the truth, no matter what anyone else says, no matter what anyone else does. You need to trust yourself. I'm sure everyone's heard the phrase gaslighting, right? It's a common thing that we hear a lot about. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what gaslighting is and why it's important to always listen to yourself. Some signs of gaslighting. Are you constantly questioning yourself? Is it hard for you to make decisions? I know in my past, and even sometimes now, I still have some issues. I'm afraid I'm going to make the wrong decision. I'm not sure if I'm going to, do I need to go here? Do I need to do this? And so that's a common thing when you have a history of someone been gaslighting you, okay? You have a hard time trusting yourself, constantly questioning yourself, and you may feel lost and confused. So I'm going to talk about a story that just happened. It just happened. So me and my wife were at a local grocery store, and we went in there and bought avocados and jalapenos. And I was very aware of my surroundings, aware of what was going on, and no one else around me was really aware of what was going on, right? And so I was very present in the moment and watched the guy check our stuff out. Our avocados and jalapenos got put in a bag by a bagger boy. And I looked up at his name tag and I thought, that's an unusual way to spell his name. It had an I in it when normally you don't have an I in this name. And so I knew his name. I was very aware of what his name was because it was a unique spelling. And then I watched him grab our bag of jalapenos and avocados. I saw him grab them and pick them up, and I saw him walk in this direction kind of behind us. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I wonder what he's doing with our groceries. And I didn't say anything. And the cashier kept checking the rest of our stuff out. And my wife goes to pay, and I walk around to get our bags, and I was like, where's our jalapenos and avocados? And the cashier said, this guy, he called his name, and it wasn't the same guy's name. He said it was Austin. And I was like, no, it was Gage. And he was like, well, let me call Austin. It was Austin. And I said, no, it was Gage. And he was like, well, I'll call Austin. So he called Austin. Austin was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't bag any of your groceries. And I was like, it was Gage. And I remember because his name has an I in it, and it was very unusual spelling. I said, he's over there bagging these other people's groceries. And so the cashier was like, hey, Gage, did you bag their stuff? And he came over there and was all confused, like he didn't even know where he was, and was like, no, I didn't. And I said, Gage, I saw you come over here and you bagged our avocados and our jalapenos, and then you took them back that way. Did you take them to the other lady's buggy? And he was like, no, why would I do that? And everybody was like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? And I was like, I just saw what you did and saw you carry him back there. And I said, everybody was just like, what's going on? And it was a crazy situation, right? It was crazy. And so Gage went to the other lady's buggy and starts going through her bags. And he was like, here's your avocados. And I said, yeah, and our jalapenos are probably in there too. And then the other lady that was shopping said, these aren't mine. Hands, him our jalapenos. And anyway, so we got our jalapenos and we got our avocados, and then everybody apologized. And it was just crazy. The whole situation was just crazy. Like, why would some boy come bag some of our groceries up and then take them 2 registers down and put them in that lady's buggy? Everybody was just like, I don't know what was going on. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. We got out to the car, me and my wife. My wife was like, that was just crazy. And I was like, yeah, it was really crazy. And I said, but it really taught me something because I had the awareness. I was paying attention and I saw what was happening. Even though it didn't make sense, and even though everybody thought it was crazy, like, why would he do that? It still happened. I watched it happen, and I knew. And that just really showed me, you know what you know. It doesn't matter how crazy it is. It doesn't matter if no one else believes you. You know what you know. And it's important for us to trust ourselves. When you know, guys. You know. So, our parents, unfortunately, have gaslit us a lot. When we were kids, we had a feeling about something, or we didn't want to be around maybe a certain person for whatever reason. We were very in tune with our environment, with energy and with other people's energy. Maybe we didn't want to be around somebody, and they made us be around them, and they taught us to not trust ourselves. They taught us to look outside of ourselves and to look to authority figures. They know better, when that is not the case, y'all. Our parents did the best they could with their level of consciousness. They did the best they could. Was it always right? Hell no, it was not right. And I'm not bashing on parents, by no means. I'm a parent, and we've done the best we can too with our 3 kids, right? Based on our level of consciousness. Yes, we've made mistakes, I'm sure of it. But it's important for us to all remember that our reality is perceived through our lens, right? My reality is perceived through my lens, through my experiences, through my beliefs, my actions, my thoughts. And everybody else is perceived through their own lens, right? And you know what you feel inside. You know when something doesn't feel right. You know when something does feel right. You know. So some of the things when you have a history of someone gaslighting you is you have low confidence. You can't trust yourself because you're told not to. You're told that, no, I know better. And how many of y'all apologize for things when it's not even your fault? You didn't do anything wrong, but you're apologizing, always apologizing when you didn't even do anything. I definitely have a history of that, apologizing when something wasn't my fault. What's some of the impacts of being abused with gaslighting? Well, a lot of people have anxiety and depression, low self-esteem, as I'd already mentioned, not trusting yourself. You have a hard time making decisions because you might make a mistake. You don't even know which way is right because you've been told your way is wrong and everybody else's way is right, and it's false, y'all. That's so false. So we need to all learn to trust ourselves again. Trust ourselves. When we were kids, we knew, we trusted ourselves. But in order to feel safe when we were kids, we had to look outside of ourselves to our parents, who were doing the best that they could. But we had to look outside of ourselves to our parents to make us feel safe, because they were our caregivers. They had to feed us and clothe us and shelter us. And so we looked up to them. But guys, your parents lied to you. Your parents just flat out lied to you about things, and it's sad to say, but they did. Everybody's parents have lied to us, and they have told us that they know better when you know better. And it's false. And we all need to get back to learning to trust ourselves and learning to trust our own intuition and trust our own feelings, no matter what. Like the jalapeno and avocado story. No one believed me. Why would Gage take our groceries to some other lady's buggy? It didn't make sense. Why would anybody do that? They wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. It was a crazy story, yet it was the truth. It was the truth, and I had the awareness. And I'm not tooting my own horn for having the awareness. What's important in this story is, no matter how crazy it sounds, you know. Even if you're the only one that knows the truth, knows what happened, no one believes you, you stick to it. You stick to it. And by doing that, that will help you build your confidence, build your intuition, and it's going to help you learn to trust yourself, right? It's going to help you quit betraying yourself, because at the end of the day, we've been betraying ourselves, right? And how can we trust someone if they constantly betray us? How can we trust someone when they've constantly betrayed us? So when we betray ourselves, it's kind of hard to trust ourselves too, honestly. learning to trust your intuition, learn to trust your feelings. And if you do have any issues with anxiety and depression, always make sure you seek out help, seek out support with family, friends, a therapist, a coach, someone that can kind of help guide you back into the truth of yourself so that you can find yourself again. So if y'all have any questions, I hope that you leave a comment below. If you resonated with this at all, make sure you hit subscribe and like the video so that more people can find this video. And I hope that this message resonated for some of y'all.